Alright, so welcome to a little tutorial on a breakdown. So we're here in the breakdown menu, well in the main menu here. I'm first going to start with configuration, and then we go down to options here. So latest breakdown update now comes with some custom options in this menu. We'll be adding more to controls at some point, um, near future. Anywho, in this options menu, we have use Control Y for split. Now, if you have this unchecked, it'll use Control S. Unfortunately, Control S in the editor is also for saving, so that's why this option exists. I didn't want to outright change the hotkey just yet, so that's there. But it's just a good example of where these newer options will be, and most of them will be in this options menu at the bottom. Might add a divider for it. I'm not quite too sure yet. But past that, let's go into the editor, and then we'll go into our test here. Alright, so I'm going to go to environment and then roads. And I'm just going to select this roads. This coordinate editor isn't working yet, but it will work soon. I heard Sultan is working on it. He's the other developer on this project. So we have a road. First thing you'll notice are these bubbles here, the circles, the spheres, I guess, and these indicate the width of the road. As you can see, it's not exact, but it's close enough. Because kind of there's the fall off here, and it doesn't take that into account. But it is useful if I wanted to line the road, I guess, I don't know, with this trail, and I can just line up the edges with it all the way down. And my hotkeys aren't going to be shown here, but if you do Alt B, you can automatically bake everything. So that's nice. And see, this is lined up perfectly now, and I did not have to bake it and then move it and stuff. Next up on here is the fact that I can use these transform handles. That's cool. I can use Control I to turn on ignore terrain, and then I can move this up and bake it. So that's a plus. I'm going to turn that off now though. Control I again. As you can see, it changed it down there. Do Alt B. It's back down there. Alright, next one on my list is duplicate. I believe this is Control D. Alright. It has to choose what side to place it on, so you kind of just got to move it around and see. This time it decided to place it on this side of it. But it would duplicate this right here. Next up, we have the functionality of Control B and Control N, which is already a thing with objects. So if I go to objects here, just go to wherever this research thing is, and we'll like scale it. We'll change this to local. I'm gonna copy and paste this, and we'll change the scaling. So if I do Control B on this, and then I do Control N, you see it kind of matches the scaling. And that's the same concept with this. So if I do Control B over here, let me do that again, and then I do Control N here, it will kind of just snap to that. However, let me bring these tangents out, and let me do Control B again, and then do Control N. It doesn't save the tangents, so there's another hotkey. So if you do Control B and then do Control M instead, you see it preserves the tangents there. Preserve that tangent. Yep. And works like a charm. Ignore how stupid that looks, but I think the point was kind of gotten here. Next up is the road splitting. Now if I go to options and I go I just realized it's not on that menu. I believe I set it so it was supposed to use Control Y. By default it's Control S, but I'm gonna do Control Y here, and you'll notice that the road gets unbaked. And if I go into here and move it, you can see that it split it, and it's almost like perfect. I'll be bake. So we see like a perfect split in there. Merging isn't a thing yet, but I'll have to consider adding it. Another thing you'll notice is that the handles, like, they're not really pointing, like, I can't really move it, like, perpendicular. So I have a mode for that, transform handle mode. Set the tangent, and then I'll follow these tangents. So, you know, you can kind of slide it over without having to think about it, and see it's kind of parallel still. There are some newer features as well. We're going to go to, I don't know, navigation. And we're going to place a navigation here. And there's some coordinate editors for this now. So this is courtesy of Sultan. So we can change this, then apply it, and I'll move it over. So that's cool. And this comes with some of the other things as well. Airdrop markers, they have it too. Unfortunately, this doesn't appear to be working. However, let's try spawn point, and then we're gonna set this translate. All right, so that's what's happening here. Is I had it set on the wrong mode. So scaling and rotating might not work on some of the nodes and stuff. But if we go to volumes, for example, yeah, it's down here. So it's nice. We'll have to work out the positions of that because it kind of moves around. Not very helpful. We go to spawns, vehicles, for example. And I don't know, let's create a new spawn vehicle, add. Okay, we place. So I have this new spawn, but I want a preview. So I'm just gonna bear with me while I go outside the game, and I go to, let me just find a vehicle, ambulance German. Gonna open VS Code. Not seeing this, but I have it, and then I'm gonna paste it in here. Ta-da! And Sultan added this. This is really helpful, so you can kind of preview. So if you had like a helipad and you wanted to like see how large the helicopter would be on it, that's how it would work. So it's just convenient feature. The radius needs some working out. It's not, doesn't get shown very well. Next up on our list, that might be all. We don't have the coordinate-based editing for the players. It's a thing for objects, so objects now support it again. So coolio, right? So if I set this to, I don't know, 49, apply. See, that still works. Rotation, scaling. This was made by Sultan, so I'm not sure if it follows locality or not. Doesn't appear to. So if I translate this, yeah, so it doesn't necessarily follow locality. It's more keeping track of it in local space. But either way, it's pretty useful in my opinion. And that's about it for that. Visibility tab is actually useful. We can see regions now, so you can actually see where the bounds of which this is corresponding to. Save data for most stuff in the game, like barricade structures, etc. They're put into regions. So is a region.